Good morning, my dear students of class 10. How are you all? I hope you all are fine there and waiting for your social study class having necessary materials. This is me, Dinesh Karki, your social study teacher, and you're watching your own program, Pabson Education, on our favorite channel, JanataTelevision. My dear students, we are meeting after a long time. We could not continue our class, but onwards, I strongly believe that our social class will be continued till school will reopen. All right? Our educational journey will be fantastic, wonderful, light-bearing, and fruitful. Hoping that I would like to welcome you all in this live social class. So, are you ready? If you are ready, excited, enthusiastic, then let's begin. Let's get going. Boys and girls, today I'm gonna start Unit 5 Civic Awareness. Boys and girls, this unit is very, very important in terms of examination. All right, from there, a long question is asked. All right, so please, you should focus this unit very much. All right, so from Unit 5, I'll begin today. I'll talk about the legislature. All right, but before I begin the class, let's quickly recap the previous lesson that we explored in the previous class. My dear students, today I just quickly recap the definition of federalism that we talked about, discussed about in the previous classes. Then I talk about the federalism, advantages of federalism, challenging aspects of federalism, and then after basis of federalism. I'm gonna share the slide, boys and girls. Yes, what do you mean by federalism? All right, can you tell me? Yes. Federalism means a political concept in which there is a mixed or compound mode of government combining general government and regional governments, means uh, local governments as well as provincial government in a single political system. All right, we discussed about the concept of federalism in the previous class. Once again, all right, federalism is a political concept in which there is a compound or a mixed mode of government combining central government and other provincial government and local governments. Relate this definition to the federal structure of Nepal and try to understand. Look at, see, in the center there is a federal government led by KP Sharma Oli, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli. Then after other governments like provincial governments, 7 provinces, 7 governments, and many more local governments. So in short, again, a political concept in which there is a mixed mode or compound mode of government combining a general government, it means federal government, with the regional governments like provincial or local government in a single political system. I hope you got it, my dear students. Now let's go ahead, one step ahead. In the previous class, we discussed about the advantages of the federalism. We discussed about the positive strengths of the federalism. Boys and girls, let's quickly recap. Number one, a positive strength or advantage is judicious distribution of means and resources. Second, public participation or participation of local people in the development. Third is the decentralization of the power. And next is proportionate development of a nation. And then after next is rapid development of the nation. And next one is settlement of the disputes at the local level. All right, boys and girls. Now, these points I had discussed in detail in the previous classes, but how do you remember? All right, I had given you one clue. Right, how do you remember it? Just remember this word is JP DPRS. All right, this is your best friend. I had told you earlier in the classroom. JP DPRS. This word is your best word. So keep on remembering this word and try to relate the meaning of this word to the advantages of federalism. Once more, J for judicious distribution of means and resources, P for participation of local people in the development, and next is D for decentralization of the power, and P for proportionate development, R for rapid development of the nation, and lastly S for settlement of the dispute at the local level. I hope you remember it, which we discussed about it in detail in the previous class. And the previous video also is in YouTube. You can click and you can visit and you can remember all these things. Okay, boys and girls, let's go ahead, one step ahead. All right. In the previous class, we slightly discussed about the challenging aspects of the federalism, but I did not get proper time to discuss or elaborate about the challenging aspects of the federalism. So today I will describe about these all points, challenging aspects of the federalism in detail. All right, please pay attention. Boys and girls, number one challenging aspect of the federalism is over exploitation of natural resources. First, let me tell you the points. Then after, I will explain these points in detail one by one. All right. Second is expensive form of the government. Third is unhealthy competition of the development. Next is chance of severe conflict. And next A is a country may divide. And next is misunderstanding between the provincial and the central government. These are the challenging aspects of the federalism, boys and girls. But again, how to remember, all right? So I have developed one very short keyword, that is oh, you came. There is in between, you can find one exclamatory sign. Just that is, I have put there just to make it very attractive and interesting. But how do you remember these words, this word, boys and girls? Whenever you meet friends and whenever you talk with your friends, all right? So instead of saying, oh my God, if you say, oh, you came, just, you know only the thing, what is it, all right? Instead of, oh my God, if you say, oh, you came, then automatically, you'll remember the challenging aspects of the federalism, boys and girls. All right, this is a trick, hey? If you say in place of oh my God, oh you came, then you will remember the challenging aspects of the federalism and you will calculate, oh, what is E for? E for expensive form of, O for over exploitation of natural resources, and E for expensive form of the government, and then after what is there? C for chance of severe conflict, U for unhealthy competition of the development, A for a country may divide, and lastly M for misunderstanding misunderstanding between provincial and central government. Boys and girls, how do you remember? You remember this word, in place of oh my God, you should say what? Oh, you came. And what does it mean? So boys and girls, now I will explain these all points one by one. Let me show you another slide. Boys and girls, you can see on the slide over exploitation of resources. It means exploitation of resources. What is the meaning of exploitation, boys and girls? Yes, you are right. Overuse of the resources. Boys and girls, generally development work must be carried out without destroying the natural resources so that our future generation will be able to use it. Of course, while conducting the development works in the locality or in our province or in the country, we must carry out the development work without destroying our natural resources. Why? The reason is our future generation so that can use the resources, all right? And this is the core idea of the sustainable development also. But boys and girls, we don't find such, all right? And second one is there may be heavy competition among the local governments as well as among the provincial governments. Generally, I'm talking about the federalism considering all over the world. Not I'm concerning about the federalism of Nepal only. Generally, if you look at closely observe the federalism which has been practicing all over the world, then we find that a kind of unhealthy competition among the provinces, among the government. But generally, while conducting development work, there can be heavy competition and unhealthy competition also. For that, they may exploit the natural resources also. So this is the very, very key thing we need to remember is. And boys and girls, how to remember, like examples in our local areas, roads are being constructed, all right? And similarly, hills are being demolished, all right? And similarly, water resources are being polluted in the name of development. All right. And what happens? Result is, our, the sources of water is being dried, sources of water is being dried, and actually, and landslides are taking place. All right. So ultimately, the, in the name of development, there can be heavy competition, and heavy competition may cause over or exploitation of the natural resources, and they may bring, disasters situation, devastation in the nature also. So, boys and girls, in short, it is one of the challenging aspect of the federalism. I am not saying it is disadvantage, but it is a challenging aspect. All right. So, I hope you understood it. All right. Now, next is expensive form of government. Boys and girls, do you remember? Do you believe that the federalism is one of the expensive form of the government? Guess. Let's observe the federal structure of Nepal. All right. Look at, there is a central government, federal government in the center, one government. All right. And how many governments are there? Seven governments, means seven provinces. Each province, one government, sure. And other so many municipalities and so many local rural municipalities are there. Altogether, 753 local bodies are there, and in each body there is a government. So to run these all governments, all right, it is very very expensive for poor country like Nepal. So definitely it is one of the challenges, aspect of federalism for poor country like Nepal. I hope you understood the point. Now, boys and girls, unhealthy competition of the development. I previously, short while ago, I discussed about it also. Boys and girls, actually, unhealthy competition of the development is one of the challenging aspect of the federalism. Boys and girls, definitely positive competition of the development among the province and local levels is very good sign for the prosperity of the nation. For example, in our country, if our municipalities or if our rural municipalities or provinces, if they compete for the development of their province or for their local bodies, positively, it's a very good sign. But sometimes, there may be unhealthy competition among the provinces and local levels in carrying out development works, which is very, very bad. Boys and girls, what are the examples? Example is you can see on the slide. Sometimes, minerals can be found in the border of two provinces. All right, suppose minerals or gelatin or uranium is found in the border of the two provinces. All right, now what happens? Both states make claim. All right, both states may claim to excavate it. All right, so it really brings unhealthy competition, and it has happened in the different countries where they have been practicing federalism. All right, and similarly sometimes one state may reject or may ignore the manpower of other states in terms of carrying out development work. All right, so this is also happening in different countries where they have been practicing federalism. So boys and girls, if you closely observe the federalism of the different countries in the world, then we can see unhealthy competition of among the provincial governments, among the different governments. So but boys and girls, until now in Nepal, we have not seen such a unhealthy competition, but we expect a kind of positive competition for the development. All right, let's hope our leaders will compete positively for the development of the nation. It is very good sign for the federal country like Nepal. But until now, we have not seen unhealthy competition. But it is the challenging aspect. It may occur. It may take place. All right, my dear students, I hope you understood it. Now, chance of severe conflicts, serious conflicts. Boys and girls, uh, it is one of the challenging aspects of the federalism. It is one of the challenges of the federalism. When does, such severe conflict take place? This is the major question. Boys and girls, if the people's identity and rights are not ensured properly in the country, keep in mind, if the people's identity and rights are not ensured properly in the country, if judicious distribution of the natural resources is not ensured in the country, if ethnicity, historicity, geography, population, culture, language, religion, and especially efficiency are not considered properly while restructuring the nation into federal state, into federal structure, then there may be severe conflict in the country. All right. Similarly, if backward and downtrodden classes are not fairly included in the mainstream of the development, in all the mechanism of the state, or if accountability, if transparency, and of the impunity, employment opportunities, and discrimination free societies are not ensured, then there can be severe conflicts in the state. For example, boys and girls, you can take the civil war of Nigeria. In Nigeria, there is severe conflicts. Why? The reason is that actually the main points which I have mentioned right now on the slide, these things are not properly considered, especially judicious distribution of the means and resources is not properly considered. So still there is a conflict in the Nigeria. You can click, you can Google, and you can study about the present condition of the Nigeria. Similarly, our neighboring country in India, there is also the Gorkha land movement. Why many more Gorkha people of India have been, fighting with the Indian government for their Gorkha land state? Why? Because their identity is not properly addressed. Their identity is not properly, addressed in the federalism of the India. That's why many more Gorkha people of India have been, asking for the separate Gorkha land. So, boys and girls, let me conclude this point is if, especially if the identity of the citizen is not properly considered, if the downtrodden classes are not fairly included in the mainstream of the development or in all the mechanism, political mechanism of the state, or especially if accountability, transparency, end of the impunity means it is said in Nepali, dandahintako antya, all right, and especially employment opportunities are not ensured properly, then boys and girls, there can be severe chance of conflict, all right. So hope you have understood it, and for more, you can Google about the civil war of Nigeria, and you can Google the Gorkha land movement, and you can talk and discuss about these issues with your teacher also, and you can understand more about it. Hope you understood this point. So let me go one step ahead, boys and girls. I'm gonna share one more slide for you. A country may divide. All right, boys and girls, this is one of the challenging aspects of the federalism. But boys and girls, we need to understand is if a country is exercising coming together federation. In the previous class, we discussed about the types of federalism. You know what were the types? Do you remember? All right, you are right. For first one type is coming together federation. Keep in mind, coming to the federation means all the states, if all the independent states come together to make the bigger union, which is known as coming together federation. For example, I told in the previous class, United States of America. All right, many more independent states had come together to make a bigger union. As a result, what happened? United States of America was made. All right, so this type is called coming together federation. And second one, what did we discuss about? We discussed about second one is holding together federation. If a country is divided into many political autonomous state, and if the authority, if the right and authority is delegated on the principle of the decentralization to these all political unions to make it autonomous, all right, for the self-governance, then such kind of federation is called holding together federation. And Nepal is actually has adopted the holding together federation. So most particularly, boys and girls, if country is exercising coming together federation, keep in mind coming together federation, and leadership fails to ensure the identity of its people, security of all states, that situation, their country may divide. All right, keep in mind. Second is if leadership fails to gear the development up. All right, generally, independent states or country, people want development, all right? But if leadership fails to ensure the development, if government fails to ensure the development work, then there may be, country may divide. All right. So similarly, let's take example USSR. All right, boys and girls. Actually, all the independent states who actually had come together and had made the bigger union that was USSR. All right. What happened later on? Actually, they had come together for the security of their state and for their identity and for the economic development. What happened later on? So these all states did not see any sign of security and did not actually experience any kind of the development that they had experienced, they had expected. As a result, what happened? Finally, USSR disintegrated. Boys and girls, similarly, I'm look at the slide, boys and girls. Similarly, if ethnicity, especially if a country like Nepal is is adopting holding together federation like Nepal, the way Nepal has adopted. In the case of the such country which has adopted the holding together federation, all right, if leadership fails to ensure the judicious distribution of the natural means and resources while dividing the nation into federal structure or federal structure, all right, into federal units. And similarly, if ethnicity, historicity, geography, population, a culture, a language, religion, and most particularly efficiency are not considered properly while restructuring the nation into federation, and if accountability, transparency, end of impunity again, employment opportunities, and discrimination free societies are not ensured in such a federal state, then people of the country may try to be separated. All right, but boys and girls, I want to make you clear that especially a country which has adopted the holding together federation like Nepal, there is not any kind of loophole where people may divide the nation. Especially, it may happen in such a country which has adopted the coming together federation like USSR had, like USA has, but Nepal has adopted a holding together federation. Means our country was a single, right, united, and it had been practicing unitary system. Suddenly, we realized the importance of federalism, and we divided our country into many federal states. All right. So, in such country, in such federation like Nepal has, there is no chance to be separated. But people may try to be separate. All right, try to be separated from the country. So, boys and girls, this is one of the challenging aspect of the federalism. I hope you have understood it. I'm gonna share one more slide, boys and girls. Now, misunderstanding between provincial and central government, boys and girls, generally, in federal state, actually, right is delegated to different provinces for, for self governance, right? But what happens sometimes, right is not given, power is not distributed properly. All right. So what happens, there can be chaotic situation. There can be confusion. So both central and province may claim for the right to practice. So in such situation, there can be misunderstanding between provincial and central government. So it is one of the challenging aspects of the federalism. Boys and girls, I hope you understood it. Now, boys and girls, how to remember again? Boys and girls, challenging aspect of federalism is O, you came, all right, O for over exploitation of natural resources, and E for expensive form of government. Similarly, C for a chance of severe conflict, and similarly, a country may divide. And lastly, misunderstanding between provincial and central government, boys and girls. So, I completely used my time in recapping all the previous points. Let me tell you today quickly what are the bases of the federalism, boys and girls. Main bases of the federalism are, boys and girls, like ethnicity, efficiency, geography, culture, natural resources, historicity, language populations are the main basis of the federalism. But in the case of Nepal, geography and resources and efficiency, these three things are considered highly while restructuring in Nepal. Boys and girls, so today actually I had planned to talk about the legislature, but I could not because I spent much of time while recapping all these previous classes. Hope in the next class, I'll talk about the legislature. Then after I will, try to talk about the executive, and then after judiciary, and I will make this class very helpful, very light bearing, and very fruitful to you. Hope this class has been fruitful to you all, boys and girls. Again, I'm repeating this, unit 5, civic awareness is very, very important in the context of the SEE. So I would like to request all of my dear students, please, while reading social study, you need to study it using technique, using tricks. Then only you will be able to capture all the points. Right? Today, I discussed about the three things. All right. Number one, advantages of the federalism, and I had given you one clue, one word that was JPDPRS. All right. And I told you to remember this word always while talking among the friends. And similarly, I had given you another word, oh, you came. And I have also told you, remember this word and use this word in place of saying, oh my God, you can say, oh, you came. And at the same time, you relate the meaning, full form of each letter to the challenging aspects of the federalism. This is how, if you would practice every day, and if you study social study, as a fun, enjoying, right? Having fun, then I hope you will cover all the social studies. Most of the students always express their tantrums, their flare of dissatisfaction and their difficulty in terms of learning social study. But boys and girls, please learn it, having full of fun, using trick. And in the next class, I'll try to cover how to remember the dates, all right? And I'll try to cover these all executive, judiciary, and legislature in detail. So this was only today, all right? See you next time. Till then, goodbye. Have a nice moment.